Hi there, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly in-depth tarot video forecast, tarot scope. This is for the month of February, and I am breaking up the month of February into two separate halves. What we are starting with is going to be February the 1st through Valentine's Day, or February the 14th. And then after that, we'll look at February the 15th through the 28th. This is a reading that is about Sagittarius and for Sagittarius. Those of you who are cross watchers, you're welcome to be here with the understanding that the energy that is coming up is not reversible. It is about and for Sagittarians. If you want to find a reading that talks about you, you want to look at a reading that is for your sun sign, your moon sign, or your rising sign. All right, so let's just take a peek at what we've got. All right, we have cards down for you, Sagittarius. The first thing we're going to look at is your environment. Keep in mind, your environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. Usually it's home, but sometimes it's someplace else as well. It looks like you are discovering something new about your environment that you did not, I think that you were not expecting to find about your environment. And it looks to me like this is causing a little bit of confusion for you because, this is like maybe you just signed a lease somewhere and you thought that there was some kind of storage or parking included, and then once you actually move in, you realize, whoa, it's not. That type of thing, where there's some confusion because you thought there was, but really there isn't. So there's something going on where you're finding out the real deal about your environment, and it's causing you some confusion. And I think that this has to do with something around the idea that where you thought something was included, or where you thought that you were working together with somebody and you were on the same page about your environment, you're really not, okay? Now, this doesn't have to be home. This could also be work, like I said earlier. So you want to keep your mind open about where this might be for you, Sagittarius. Next thing that we're looking at does talk to me about your subconscious leanings. It looks to me like, Sagittarius, you are making some type of lifestyle change during this time frame, or at least you're considering it at a subconscious level. And it looks to me like, at least at the subconscious level, you're feeling like, number one, it's a good time to make this lifestyle change. And to me, a lifestyle change is something that we make to improve either our quality of life now or our length of life. So you're feeling like it's a good time to make this lifestyle change. And you're also feeling like you have a good idea about how you're going to go about this. So this could be you deciding, you know what, this is a good time for me to quit smoking, and I can use the patch, or I can use the gum, or I can use the hypnosis, or, whatever it is that is your idea here. So it doesn't have to be that you're thinking about quitting smoking. It's just an example. But you're making some type of lifestyle change because you want some improvements, and you're feeling like it's a good time for it, and you're feeling like you have a good idea about how you can go about making this lifestyle change happen successfully. Now, next thing that I'm looking at does talk to me about your learning style during this time frame, and then we'll look at communication style as well. I do think that there's a lot of information in front of you that people are trying to give you. This may be people offering to give you books, or offering to pay your way into a seminar, or even just telling you about a seminar and wanting you to pay your way in. But there's information on offer for you here. Whether you pick it up or not is kind of up to you. I think you are going to end up picking up at least some of this information, though. I think you want to also be really careful about some of the information that's coming into you during this time frame. You want to look very carefully at where this information is coming from. What's the source? And what is the ulterior motive of the source? Because I do feel like there is somebody showing up who is giving you false information during this time frame. And I think that they know that they're giving you false information. This is very intentional. And then the last thing that we have coming up, you are getting some information in through communicating with the divine. For most of you, I feel like this is actually going to be meditation or some variation thereof, but some type of communication with the divine. Now, as far as communication style, I do think that there's going to be quite a bit of communication that's going to have to do with emotions or be very emotional during this time frame. I also feel like there's going to be a lot of communication about limitations, places, things that are making you feel limited moving forward, and communication around how to get away from these limitations, how to get into a situation where those limitations don't apply to you. So I think there's going to be some communication going on there around that. And I think there's also, I feel what I'm hearing is there's a mutual admiration club between you and somebody else. There's somebody that you think is really awesome and amazing, and I think you're going to be letting them know how much you appreciate what they do or what they say, or whatever it is that you think is awesome and amazing. And I think you're going to be hearing back from them the things that they appreciate about you as well. All right, next thing that we're looking at does talk to me about work for you Sagittarians. So let's see what we have. It looks like you're returning to, you may have an old client coming back, an old job coming back. There's something coming back from the past, and I feel like this is something that you're glad to see. So this could be, like a returning client. Like I said, somebody that, you've worked with before, or a project that you've worked on before and you really enjoyed it. So I'm really happy to see that. It looks like you want to be careful because there's some kind of resentment or jealousy coming up around you at work. So you just want to be aware that you're not rubbing anything in anybody's face, and also be aware that, you don't want to let that negative energy impact you and impact the job that you're doing. I do feel like, you've got some really good cards. Other than that one, you've got some really good cards about work, Sagittarius. The last thing that comes up is a card that talks about, that there is a lot of truth going on at work, which is nice to see. Not a lot of backbiting, backstabbing. I think that information is pretty freely out there if you look for it. And I also feel like you're being given free rein during this time frame to really do what seems best to you and to make some judgment calls moving forward. I kind of get this sense, Sagittarius, like somebody is looking to see what kind of decisions you make, because they may be considering putting you into a position that has more responsibilities. So very cool. There's a couple of really good work cards there. The only thing I don't like is the person who seems to be jealous, and that, being sandwiched in between two really great cards. I'm not saying that having a huge impact. You just want to be aware. Be sensitive to that idea. And somebody who's jealous is somebody who's insecure. They're not a very happy person. So, it's not classy to make them unhappier. All right. I'm not saying if somebody gives you a promotion, don't take it. I'm just saying don't rub things in their face is more classy. Anyway, next thing that we're looking at is what part of your personality is growing or expanding as we go through this particular time frame. It looks to me like you've been a little beat up lately, Sagittarius. It looks to me like some of the things that you've been wanting to manifest have been not only not manifesting, but kind of the opposite has sort of been coming into your experience. And it has been making you feel like, okay, I just don't know what to do. I thought I was doing all the right things, and now I just don't know what to do. So I am seeing healing coming into this situation. I'm seeing balance coming into this situation during this time frame. So for me, this is talking about where you're growing or expanding, is in acknowledging that things aren't actually going the way you want them to, and that's putting you in a funky headspace, and allowing yourself to really look at that and heal that up so that you can get yourself into a better headspace and start creating those things that you really want to create in your experience. Alrighty, Sagittarius, next thing that we're looking at talks to me about those things that you stand for. This is going to be something that somebody has questioned you about, possibly even confronts you about. and they just, they just want some answers. All right. And so what is it that you're standing up for? It looks like somebody approached you about um, either getting back together with them or about pulling a project off of the back burner and putting more attention on it again, but about bringing something back from the past one way or another. And you were like, nay, nay, I'll pass. I think I've had enough of that. Or it's not the right time. But I really get the sense that this is a hard pass for you. Okay. And I feel like, this person really wants a second chance at whatever this is, whether it's a project you're working on or whether it's a relationship. And I think that you're feeling like, you know what, I have too many other good opportunities out there to spend time feeding into something that I already know didn't work. Why wouldn't I put my energy and effort into something that has the potential to possibly work? It hasn't already proven that it's going to go into a funky space. So that's where you are with this. After you have this conversation with this other person, they feel like, first of all, you're really keeping some things secret. They also feel like you're doing a payback, like you're basically getting revenge. And that's the secret that they feel like you're keeping. They don't feel like you're being honest about why you're not moving forward with this thing that somebody wants to bring back from the past. They feel like the reason you're not moving forward with it is you're getting revenge. So to me, it seems like whoever this is that wants to move forward with this thing from the past, they're the ones that wanted to drop it originally. Now they want to pick it back up. And so it doesn't make sense to you because, you can't rely on that person anymore. And so whoever this is that you've explained this to, they don't see that it doesn't make sense to you. They feel like you're just secretly trying to get revenge on this other person, but that really you're still attracted to that other person. And, in all fairness, maybe you are still attracted to them, but the fact is, if they dropped you before, how can you expect them to stick around? So, yeah, they feel like you're just getting revenge or a payback, and that, you're doing it because you're angry or upset. All right, let's look at your flex period, Sagittarius. So this is the period where something happens that gives you a different perspective, and so your your trajectory starts changing up a little bit. Excuse me just a second. Sorry about that, Sagittarius, but we're back. Let's look at your flex period. So what we're seeing coming up here is that you're actually happy with a situation where I think you're shutting down communication with somebody, or maybe they're shutting it down with you, and you're just like, oh, thank goodness. I think you're actually really happy about this. It looks to me like you're sort of cutting your losses with this situation whenever the communication is shut down. For a lot of you, I feel like this is actually work. But, that's not going to apply to everybody in the work sector. But I'm going to say for 65% of you, I think this is about work. Where you have somebody that has to do with your work, whether it's a vendor, whether it's a client. There's somebody here that they're just shutting down communications. And I think that you're cutting your losses with this person. I think that they're refusing to pay for whatever it is that you've already done or whatever it is that, they've already purchased. And at the same time that all this is going on, I see you being very happy about it. So if you're very happy about this, you know what this tells me about this person or this company is that they were a major, major, major pain in the patookie, okay? Because you're happy to cut your losses and just let them go. What else is going on at the same time? Oh, yeah, you're walking away. You are walking away from this. You are putting down any kind of responsibility that you were carrying towards this. And you understand that this means that they're not going to pay you. And maybe you're doing it because they've told you, we're not happy with your work. We're not going to pay you. When I see this to me has the markings of somebody really unreasonable that you've been trying to work with, and they have just decided that they are no longer going to have anything to do with you. And so, like I said, I think because they're so unreasonable, I think this is a relief for you. I think trying to jump through their hoops was just really becoming a big stressor, a huge stressor. All right. So what do we have here? It looks like this this person is leaving only temporarily, or this company, they're only temporarily going. They are going to come back. They're going to come back of their own volition is what I'm hearing. Okay? And they're going to come back because you know that what you were doing was right and had integrity and was exactly the best thing for them, whether they liked your prices or not, or liked what you were doing or not. Once they get out there and they're comparing your services to other people's services, they're going to have no choice but to come back to you, is what I'm seeing here. And it's very interesting to me that as they come back, you're not so happy. But I think that there's some kind of contract. And so if they're coming back, I think you feel like you need to go ahead and honor that contract. And all of this is happening, it's all happening within that flex period. So it's happening pretty quickly. I think these people are out of your hair for maybe about 2 days, Sagittarius, before they show back up saying that they need you back again. I almost said where they show back up tail in hand, but I'm going to tell you, I don't think they're coming back with any kind of humble pie type of attitude. I think they're going to come back and try to act like nothing happened, and how come you're not still working on their project, and how come there's been no progress made type of attitude. Okay? So let's look at what's going on with you towards the end of this particular period. I think you're feeling definitely like you have all the resources that you need at your fingertips. You have everything that you want to do the things that you want right now. And I think that there's somebody around you that you're really opening up to. And I kind of get the sense that you're telling somebody, I really need a particular type of information, or I really need training. There's something that you're looking for. So it may be that you're even interviewing somebody like a mentor or a life coach or something like that. But I feel like whoever this is, you're really opening up to them. You're letting them see the core of your issues, because I think you're expecting that the only way that they can help you is if you're able to open up like that to them. And I do feel like whoever this person is, whether it's a friend or whether it is officially a life coach that you're paying or anything in between, I think that they do have some really great ideas to help you move forward in a positive direction, because you have opened up to them. And so we see you making some positive progress. I almost called prerogative. Positive progress moving forward once we get halfway into February. So I'm going to take a little break, and when I come back, we are going to look at the last half of February. See you in a second. Hi again, Sagittarius. This time we're looking at February the 15th through the 28th. Thank you for being here. Those of you who are cross-watchers, you're welcome to be here, with the caveat that, the energies are not reversible here. And so if you want to find energies that are about you for this time frame, then you want to check your video for your sun sign, rising sign, or moon sign. But you're totally welcome to be here to find out what's going on with the people who are Sagittarius in your life, whom you care about. Let's see. Okay, Sagittarians, we have your cards on the table. Let's take a peek at your environment during this time frame. What do we have coming up? Oh, this is nice. So it looks like you're really happy doing your environment. There may be some kind of gift of environment or gift in the environment that comes to you. And I think that this gift has to do with something toxic that is coming to an end, or at least that you're getting a break from. But I'm seeing a lot of happiness in your environment. I'm liking that. Good for you, Sagittarius. Next thing that I'm looking at does talk to me about your subconscious leanings. Okay, so Sagittarius, what I'm seeing going on here that you're thinking about in your subconscious is that there is a person in your sphere of influence, probably a male for most of you, who is somebody that they don't have a lot of resources, They don't have a lot of resources. And what they're doing is they're hanging on to your coattails, using all of your resources to manifest things that they want in their life, to manifest things that are for them. Yeah, I think what you're thinking about subconsciously, you're actually considering this situation and trying to view it from different angles so that you know you have a full understanding of it. And you're considering the idea of cutting this person off because you originally started helping them, hoping that that would help give them a leg up so that they would become more independent and more able to care for themselves. And instead, what's happening is they're getting more and more and more dependent on you. And so in your subconscious mind, you're thinking, I wonder if it would help things if I would actually cut them off so that they would have to start doing for themselves instead of counting on me all the time to provide them the things that they want and they need. Okay? So next thing that we have coming up talks to me about learning style and also communication style during this particular time frame. I do think that you're learning a lot that is very emotional. And I think that these things that you're learning a lot that has so much emotion wrapped around it, I think a lot of what you're learning here is from teaching other people. You're showing other people some ideas, and there's a lot of emotion around this. And, by teaching other people, that's when we learn the most because we learn at a deeper level and it impacts us in a different way as we're helping other people to see some type of truth that we already know. Also, on learning style, I think you may be learning something from a source that you normally would not go to learn from. There's a lot of information online. Maybe some of you would never go to the library to learn something. Maybe you're going to the library to learn something. Or, maybe you're old school. Maybe you've always gone to the library for your information. Now you're learning from Google. So there's something here about learning from a different source than you would normally. Maybe you're even learning from a person that you would have never dreamed that you would learn anything from. Also, going on, there is something that you're trying to find out more about, and I think that information is really scarce. And so I feel like you're putting some energy and effort into trying to find out about something, but you're just not coming up with much information there. Now, as far as communication style during this particular time frame, I think you're being very much to the point in your communication, especially with a particular person or group of people. You're making sure that that you're making a point whenever you talk. This is not a meandering, relaxed conversation. This is having an agenda and wanting to make some points as you're talking. Okay, I really see that coming up again in this next card of almost like bullet points showing up for me as I'm looking at this next card. That's what's coming to me. Like you're very organized in your communication right now. You're making sure you're hitting on these same points. And the fact that it's coming to me again in a second card is telling me that you may be repeating this information to somebody because you may feel like they're not getting it, or you may be wanting them to get it at a deeper level. So you think if you say it in a different way, but I do feel like you're basically repeating the same information over to somebody here. And then lastly, but not leastly, I do think you're talking to somebody about those dreams that you have that seem so far away that you might never, ever, ever be able to reach them, or at least that's your perception right now. And, that could be that life coach that we saw earlier. I don't know. But there's somebody that you're talking to about these dreams that seem out of reach. All right, next thing that we're looking at, Sagittarius. We're looking at work next. Looks to me like you may be changing jobs or changing positions, or at least considering it. You may be at least putting out resumes. It looks like as you are doing this, you're getting in some good news about money. And I think you're faced with a decision. You don't know which way to go. So I think that you do get an offer. You get an offer for a promotion or a different department or an offer for another company. And it looks to me like you're confused about which way you want to go. I think this offer does have potentially more money than where you are right now. But I feel like the confusion is that there are some gives and takes. Like maybe the money's better, but the insurance isn't. Or the money's better, but the vacation time isn't there. Or, the regular wage is pretty good, but the commissions are kind of iffy. There's something here that has you a little bit confused about which way is the best way to go. I have to say here, just because I am who I am, I have to say here, this is the perfect thing to get a reading about. You want to come to somebody like me and say, look, I've got these offers in front of me. I just don't know which one to take. Can we look at what happens if I take this one? And can we look at what happens if I take that one? And we can find some really pertinent information that'll help you make this decision in a much more confident way. Let's look next, Sagittarius. Let's look next at that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now. Looks to me like you are taking some paid time off of work during this time frame. And paid time off could be, taking vacation time from work. It could also be not working and getting unemployment benefits. And it looks to me like while you're taking this paid time off, you're also splurging a little bit. You are blowing the budget during this time frame. So you're not doing what you know you need to bring in more moolah, or you're doing something impulsive with your money, or spending outside the budget thinking you'll fix it later. I do think, like I said, this time off is paid time off, so I don't get so much that you're not doing what it takes to bring in the moolah. But I do think that probably what's going on is you're splurging a little bit or doing some kind of impulse purchase. Either way, you're blowing the budget, you know it, and you know you're going to have to fix it later. Excuse me just a second. Sorry about that interruption, Gemini. So the next thing that we are looking at does talk to me about those things that you stand for. This is something somebody has asked you about or maybe even confronted you about. So we're going to look at what that is. So it looks like there's something that is coming back from the past, something that you thought was dead and over and gone. And this is something that caused some long-term tension for you previously. And it looks like even though you thought you had taken care of this and wrapped it up and put it nicely away, it is showing back up here. And I think that whenever it shows back up, there is a partnership that comes into play here that moves forward in a very successful way, but it brings a fight. So there's lots going on, and I feel like as I'm looking at this, there's lots of different energies involved in this. So whatever this is that's coming up from the past is involving some kind of energy that is entangling with yours, whether it's a company or a person. And as you're coming together on this partnership, I feel like that's a different energy. I think that this partnership, this other person that's coming together with you in this partnership is actually helping you on your side as you're dealing with whatever this fight or argument is with this thing that has come back from the past. How your other person feels that you've explained this to, they've wanted you to explain this, or they've confronted you about this situation. They feel like, you're holding your own, and they feel like you're trying to move away, and you are moving away from a negative situation that was holding you down, and you're moving into some kind of new grace, some kind of new place of love, or a new place of strength and of even self-appreciation. So they see you as moving forward into something beautiful, holding your own with whatever this is from the past after you explain this situation to them. Okay? So next thing that I want to look at, Sagittarius, talks to me about your flex period. This is where something happens that changes your perspective. So as your perspective changes, then your trajectory changes along with it. So what do we have going on here? There is a situation where there is somebody or something that you used to really enjoy either doing or participating in, or you enjoyed somebody's company, and it looks like you don't really enjoy that very much. And in fact, you don't even really want to go back into that space. So if this is an old hobby, then this is just gathering dust on the workbench in the garage, or, in your crochet corner, or whatever it is. Okay. And I feel like this thing, which I don't understand, you're going back to it, even though you really I almost want to say you could take it or leave it. I don't even think it's that you could take it or leave it. I think you're not that interested in it. But you're going back into it. And I feel like the reason you're going back into it is because you want to finish a project that was started. And I think you're doing this project was for somebody else. And I think that you want to finish that project up and pass that along. This person knew you were working on it. You want to pass that along. And I think after this, you just want to be done with whatever this hobby is. Or if this is a relationship that you're going back to, this may be something that you're going back to because somebody's pressuring you. Well, you'll never know what happens with this if we don't try and see what could come of it. And so you're going back to it more out of guilt than out of feeling like it can go anywhere. And you may even be going back with the attitude of, well, I'll go back to this and it's only a matter of time before this other person realizes that this isn't working. And then they'll never bug me about getting back together in this situation again. So I feel like you're going back just to kind of tie up loose ends and make sure that it's done so you never have to go back to whatever this is again, whether it's a hobby, whether it's a person, whatever. Now, at the same time that this is going on, I really think that this has something to do with a person. I think you've got a person who really cares greatly for you. And I think that you're just kind of accepting that this person has a lot of feelings for you. For a lot of you, this is romantic feelings. And so I think this is why you're going back, is because, this person has feelings for you. I don't think you want to hurt their feelings. And I think that's why you're letting yourself be talked into this. Now, it doesn't have to be romantic. Could be a good friend. Could be a family member. But for a lot of you, I think it is romantic, and I think you really just don't want to hurt their feelings. Okay, so what else is going on at the same time? There is some kind of truth that's coming up that I don't think you were aware of before, and as this truth comes up, I think you're starting to understand where this other person was going through something, and I think what's happening is they're letting you know that they always loved you, but they were going through some things that were not allowing them to speak that to you. Whether it was somebody around that was whispering in their ear about how terrible you were, or whether it was some type of mental or psychological thing that was making them hold back. I think they're letting you know about the struggle that they've been through because their feelings for you have not gone away, even though they weren't able to express them before. And this may, be factoring into why, you're getting things back going with this person. This may be part of why you feel guilty about it. About you would feel guilty if you didn't. So where do we see you at the end of this time frame, Sagittarius? We do see you in a situation where things are even, they're equitable. You're offering help and encouragement to somebody, they're offering help and encouragement to you. This is not something where everything is all one-sided and you're doing all the work here. There's a lot of communication going on here. And I think you're actually finding, to your surprise, that you're having a good time in this situation. And you're doing some things that you really enjoy doing with this other person. And I think that the two of you enjoy doing these things together. So that's where we see you. Kind of a surprise twist ending there, Sagittarius. But a good one. I mean, it ends well. I don't think you were expecting that, but it seems like it's ending well. All right. So let me go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for being here, spending some of your precious time with me. Thank you for the thumbs ups and for sharing this video with others who may find a benefit from it. And of course, also thank you to those of you who are ordering private readings, private Reiki sessions, and Reiki candles from me. It is because of all of you guys' support at every single level that I'm able to do what I love to do for my living. So thank you very much. Everyone have a fantastic month. And if I don't see you here for a private session between now and then, I'll see you all back on the next video. Peace